Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Spence, and my final project is about the connection of art and healing from trauma. So I'm sure you have all heard the name. This is a painting of Vincent van Gogh's titled The Starry Night. Vincent van Gogh suffered from bipolar disorder, and so he admitted himself into the St. Paul Asylum in St. Remy. This picture here is the view from his room at the mental institution. And he had very low days where he was not able to get out of bed or paint or really do anything. But when he could paint, he was able to provide a meaning and a solace for himself. These are some modern artists that have opened up about their struggles with trauma, depression, anxiety. First, we have Billie Eilish. And when Billie Eilish first started creating music, a lot of labels and radio people wouldn't um, play her music because they thought it was too sad and that people wouldn't relate. And a quote coming back from that Billie Eilish said in an interview I watched was that everybody has felt sad in their life, and it's of course really important to promote happiness and loving yourself and stuff. But a lot of people don't love themselves. Billie Eilish said she was clinically depressed at one point and felt a lot of pressure from society, and she felt very isolated from the world. But when she was able to get out of her shell, she was able to throw herself into music and create beautiful pieces. Next, we have Kendrick Lamar. He's a famous rap artist. Um, and he talks about how writing music is like a release of therapy for him. And he has a quote, um, and he says, "Positive for me is showing what I go through, showing what I've been through with you, and coming all the way back to I and saying, I still love myself at the end of the day." And when he's referring to you, that is a song he created. And it's about him in a hotel bathroom, drinking and beating himself up over his character and his abilities. And then I is another song he created at the end of the album. Um, and it's about the need for self assurance and loving himself. Um, there is another song he has called For Sale, which talks about visiting Lucifer. And Kendrick, in an interview I watched, said that it's a favorite of his because, and this is his words, so quote, "It's me actually coming to realization of the evils rather than acting like it's not going around. My thoughts are not happening. My thoughts are happening right in front of my face. I gotta present them." Next, we have Martha Graham. She is an American modern dancer from the 90s. And Graham opened up about how dance for her is to love the body. And she talked about how trusted sensory awareness helps you perceive things. She wanted to welcome all of the body's experiences and found them all as an occasion to dance, including tragedies and comedies. Under Martha, we have David Chang. He's a famous chef, and he hosts the show Mind of a Chef. And he has a podcast called The David Chang Show, where he talks about his growing struggle with depression after the death of a good friend of his. He said his job and passion saw him through the hardest days. Quote, "For me, the way I work, it was going to lift me out of my depression by the simple fact of going to work. I knew that there was a purpose and I had to go to work." End quote. And over here we have Bebe Miller. She is a famous American choreographer, dancer, and director. And her goal is to, quote, "pursue her interests in finding a physical language for the human condition," unquote. She opened up about a piece of choreography she created called Necessary Beauty, where it shows a representation of anger and rejection of memories and pain. Next, I went on to interview some of my friends. So this is my partner, actually, Robert Williams, and he is the head chef at Planktown Brewing in Springfield. Robert has been cooking his whole life, but got his first job as a line cook at the Cheesecake Factory in California at the age of 18. He works hard and finds passion in his career. And while interviewing Robert, he mentioned that food brings up memories about the good and the sad times. He will make his mom's famous soup when he's sick or missing family. And Robert said, quote, "If I'm ever having a bad day, I need to go to work because it helps me figure out emotions when I cook, because there's a lot of things we have to work through and think things out while cooking," end quote. He also enjoys making people happy and have good memories, or making someone else happy if they're having a bad day by making food. This is another friend of mine, Miranda Hill, and she writes poetry for herself and she paints for those she loves. She's a good listener and has a very deep emotions and creativity. So when someone comes to her about something, she doesn't always know what to say, but she will put her feelings into art and give it to that person. So this first painting we have here is titled "I See an Angel with You," and she gave this to her girlfriend. And this is when her partner was struggling with their body image and sexual identity. And then the second painting we have is called "Catching Rain." And she gave this one to one of her friends when they were feeling really overwhelmed about life. And that friend actually got the phrase "catching rain" tattooed on their arm. And then this quote right here: "I can never touch your skin again. I can never touch you again, for then I will forever crave your skin." This is just a quote, a section out of a page she was okay sharing with us. And she does not typically like to share her poetry. She uses poetry to get through her own emotions and trauma, and then likes to never look back at them and let those feelings go. And then this is Jeffrey Henderson. Jeffrey is a good friend of mine, and he plays too many instruments for me to remember. But in these pictures, he's playing in the samba jaw drumming group at the fair, and then he's playing guitar at a birthday party. While interviewing Jeffrey, he said that initially he would play to soothe other people. When his mom was sad, he would go to sit next to her bed and play his cello for her with no words spoken. He has sang songs to partners and friends when they're going through a hard time. Jeffrey said that now he finds his own emotions in the songs he is playing. He likes songs that have lots of space in them because it helps him really meditate while playing. And he discussed how sometimes he will play and he can hear his emotions coming out in the music without really thinking about it consciously. He plays songs to help reconcile with himself. He discusses that during COVID, when he didn't have a lot of people to see, he played a lot and found meditative and a peaceful feeling when he would play the hollow bass guitars, because he would feel the vibration of the music in his body. Next, I found this literature review by Stuckey and Noble. It's titled "The Connection Between Art, Healing, and Public Health." And they did a review of a bunch of studies and found these are the findings that I was able to find. So here we have the findings of the music engagement studies. And overall, the findings suggest that engaging with music can lead to a lower heart rate, decrease in anxiety, improvement in well-being, relaxation, lower strong cortisol levels while engaging in the music listening experience. Here we have the findings of the visual arts studies that they did. Overall, the findings suggest that engaging with visual arts can help individuals process grief, have a distraction of negative emotions, reduces stress and anxiety, and can lead to decrease in depression. Here we have the findings of the movement-based creative expression studies. Overall, the findings suggest that engaging in these movement-based activities help improve physical symptoms, cognitive and psychological measures, and ability to find meaning in relationships with others in self and spirit. And then here we have the findings of the expressive writing studies. Overall, the findings suggest that engaging in expressive writing studies found that it helps control anger, negative mood, decrease poor sleep, and overall well-being. So the most common themes in these interviews is that artists don't only use their work to help themselves, but to help others and give those struggling an outlet to feel. It also helps themselves figure out their emotions while doing something they're passionate about. In the literature review, these ideas were supported by the reduction of anxiety and anger and increased relaxation and mood. So overall, I think um, the findings were really cool, and um, different forms of art are seen all across the world by a variety of individuals. And our world is covered in art. It helps us connect with each other and ourselves. It helps us find joy, and it helps us work through and feel the feelings that trauma, tragedies, grief, and sadness bring. And it's turning something beautiful, or it's turning something tragic into a beautiful work of art. And I think that is very cool. And then this is my works cited page. Thank you for listening to my project. Bye.